So today's session is brought to you by APU, Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation. So today we'll be talking about specifically on the field of business, right? Very excited to hear from APU. And without further ado, I will pass the time to Mr. Edison from APU to do a quick round of introductions.
Right. All right, thank you so much, Leon. All right, just give me a quick moment. I would like to share my screen if it's possible.
Right, please do, go ahead.
All right, okay. All right, so I hope it's visible for everyone. All right, first things first. Hello, my name is Edison, and yes, I am with Student Services in APU as well. We work very closely with everybody on campus as we are one big family. All right, so just a little bit about myself before we dive right into today's session. My name is Edison, like I mentioned. Of course, I work in Student Services and I work with APU Esports as well. So yeah, these are my contact details. If you have any questions or if you want to get connected with me, this is the perfect time. All right, moving on. Just a little bit about APU before we go right into business. All right, we were established in 1993 as Asia Pacific Institute of IT. All right, so we have overseas campuses in Sri Lanka and India as well, and we've produced about 50,000 graduates since 1994. So we have more than 13,000 students from over 130 different countries. So very exciting, right? Okay, we are also among Malaysia's leading universities for technology, for business, finance, international studies, and design as well. Okay, so just a little bit of a sidetrack. All right, doubling your advantage. What is this? You might be like, oh, you have two scrolls in front of me. Oh, what is this? Don't worry, it's something very simple. If you don't know whether going overseas is a great opportunity for you, if you're very confused as to whether you want to go overseas to study, or if you're very concerned about how much money you have to spend to go overseas, what if there is something for you that you can get an overseas degree or a certification without having to go overseas, right? So this is what our double your advantage dual degree is about. I will pass it on to Dr. Jason later to go further into it. So right before that, just a quick overview as well. We have a lot of different courses in APU. We have pre-university, we have accounting, banking, finance, business, postgraduates, of course, engineering, computing, design, and so on. All right. So just a quick run through as well for pre-university. We have certificate programs, we have foundation programs, and also diploma programs for business studies, and also a lot of other courses as well. Right? And for your degree program, of course, we have a variety of different business management programs for you to choose from. So I'm not going to go too in-depth into it. Of course, as you can see on the screen right now, you have business management, you have digital leadership, e-business, digital marketing. Me, myself, I took international business management as an alumni of APU, right? So it's a really fun course, a lot of fun people to be around with as well. Okay. So before I go on and on and on about myself, I think we have way much more important speakers joining us today. So I would love to hand over the session to Senior Head Associate Professor Jason Turner, and also Miss Wong, who is also my lecturer as well, from the Faculty of Business. All right, so I'll hand the session over to the both of you.
Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. As you probably gathered, I am not Malaysian. So I came to Malaysia 6 years ago from the UK. Love it so much that I've never wanted to leave. So what we're going to do today is just give you a kind of a insight into not only business, but what you should maybe be looking at in terms of your career. It's all about being curious, it's being agile, and willing to, as rightly said by Leon at the start, collect your certificate at the end. Collect a bundle of certificates during your university time. So it's not just a degree, it has to be more than a degree. So that's what we're going to do today. So if I can just share my screen, if possible, be certainly aware of technology. So start from here. I am Jason Turner. I will be joining you in 5 or so minutes. but I will hand over to Ms. Wong. What she will talk to you about is, you're maybe thinking, why should I study business? You know, the relationship between business and technology. And she will then instruct me to switch through the slides. She will order me around. So that'll be fun. But she'll give you a little bit of overview on about the programs. Then I will talk to you about the extracurricular, which is important. So over to yourself, Ms. Wong. Just tell me what to do. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Jason. I think I have to grab this opportunity to instruct my boss. All right. Thank you to Leon, Edumetry, to organize this event for APU, and then of course to Edison. So I'm sorry, I can't recall because I can see the familiar face. Okay, I'm dear Edison.
It's okay. It's okay. No worries.
Right. It's glad to see our alumni join APU again. Right. So first, all right, good afternoon to all of you. I have a long list of participants, so I'm sorry that I can't greet each one of you. Right. So it's really good to see everyone here. Right. Although I can't see your face, okay, it will be even great if you're able to switch off your camera. Right. So the first slide we're talking about business degree. But I think this is a very popular question, like why I should study business. Right. So I think the popular answer is like you want to understand how the market works. Okay. Or maybe you want to develop some key management skill, right? At the end of the day, you are able to get a better job, and more salary, improve your employability skill. But some of you might think the other way around. So I'm not going to work for someone. I want to be a leader, right? So I want to be your own boss, right? So some might be, I'm not too sure. Like, I'm not too much focus on which area. So, business study often multidiscipline. So maybe I can think while I'm starting my first year, right? And then I look for my major and my discipline after this. I think that is quite popular answers to, the questions of why study business. But I think today, like, we have more than that. For example, in APU, we design our business program infused with digital technology. The main reason is because we are in the era for digital transformation. Right? So in this case, we want our graduates to earn and gain more key management skills, especially in the digital transformation in business. So what can I do with a business degree? I think it's more than just improve your employability skill. Well, of course, we hope that you guys be a leader. Like, so you have leaders who have a digital mindset. So, before this, many of the students, may have the ideas that I like to be a boss, right? So I want to start up a business. But today, it's not only in this area, because we also look at lots of small, medium enterprise in Malaysia. They are eagerly looking for a digital transformation. We need lots of people in this area. And I think that is another good reason why today you should consider to study business, because we want to help lots of entrepreneurship, right? So all companies to transform their business into a digital era. So I think that's a few reasons that we would like to share with you when we talk about business degree. So business degree is not only about management skill, right? So it's more than that. Right? So hopefully, at the end, we're able to guide our student to be a leader to start up your business. Right? So when we talk about digital, thank you, Dr. Jason. Okay. He can read my mind. Right? So when we talk about digital transformation, right? So we talk about how it impacts the business. So maybe some of you don't see a real case yet, right? So let me just give you some example over here. So we talk about digital technology infused in business, right? So basically, we can see this happen in 3 different areas. So, for example, like in customer experience. So, simple thing like through digital marketing, so we can understand our customer preference easier. Like, I think most of you have your own social media. So sometimes, you might see this that your social medias understand you better than your friends. Okay. So they know where you want to go for your meal. Right? So this is actually through a data analytics to understand your behavior. Now, besides that, with the digital technology, we also change our business model. For example, like sorry, my line is not clear. Thank you, Prabita. I'll talk slightly louder. Is that better now? Anyone give me a good? Thank you, Edison.
All right.
Okay, so in terms of business model, I think the popular example, like with the digital technology today, right? You shop online, right? Like Shopee, Lazada is actually a new types of business model. That is thanks for digital technology, the digital advancement in this case is expand our business activities, right? So we never think about the business model like this before, but in future we might see more and more different opportunities might happen. Yeah. So besides that, we talk about operating model. So guys, we also offer a subjects or modules like more on supply chain. So we are not only talking about a traditional supply chain, we're talking about a more advanced digital supply chain in this case. So it's able to increase our productivity, right? You can manage your warehouse better, so you can manage your stocks better, and most important is streamline the communication. Right? So it is actually really exciting to see this happen right now because many of our students are so talented, right, with the new knowledge on this digital technology. Right? They came out a lot of very interesting business models. So I think that is the future of it. So how it linked with our program highlights. Yeah. So I think this is all a uniqueness of APU. So later Dr. Jason will elaborate further, like more on external collaboration. Yeah. So besides that, we also offer e-business and digital leadership specialism, especially when talk about digital leadership. APU is actually a pioneer, right, in offering this program like in Malaysia. So mainly is what I explained before this is because that we want to help our students to understand the process, okay, to transform the current traditional small medium enterprise to a new digital era. So I think it's important that how you lead the companies to go through the transformation process. Right? So besides on this, we also have a micro credential. Micro credential is you can understand it as a short course. So sometimes, right, as entrepreneurs today, you need to learn different discipline. Example, like when we talk about like you might need a little bit of background on programming, like on design, like and etc. So you not only a business degree. So while you stay with us in APU, right, so you can take opportunities to add value into your degrees by attending some of these micro-credential classes. Yeah? So besides that, APU are famous with IT tech-based university. So our courses are always infused with IT management. So even we are talking about a business management degree, but most of the modules are being oriented with IR 4.0. So students actually have a basic understanding on IT skill. Like students have a basic understanding on how to handle e-commerce and e-books. Yeah? Of course, beside that, we also have a very good industrial collaboration. So I'm still cutting off. All right, let me just change my mic. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, sorry. Is that better now? I hope it's better.
Yeah, I think let's try going on.
Okay, good. All right, okay. So is that on the industrial collaboration? I'm so sorry. Yes, it's better, thank you. All right, so industrial collaborations, we also have a very good relationships with the industrial side. So let me put an example, like if you guys are free today, right, so we have a CTO and CEO series with PicPay. Anyone's using PicPay service, okay, or you heard about this company, right? So yeah, in this case, students have opportunities to learn from the real entrepreneurs, to learn about the real problems that they face, right? So, and also, yeah, to how to learn how to start up the business. So I think this is really important. It's very value added to your degree. Right? So besides that, we also have a multicultural. I think that Edison mentions that we currently have 13,000 students from 130 countries. So Dr. Jason's later are going to explain to you one very also a very exciting programs, right? So it's actually how we're able to enhance our students' learning experience. And that's very important that you make connections with your friends from different parts of this world. Lastly, business is not only about theory, right? So of course, we learn beyond the classroom. So we have lots of competition. So we encourage students to go for competition. it's not only you gain the extra knowledge on that, like, so, but besides that, yeah, so it's actually enhanced your CV. So our students are doing really well in various competitions. Like, so later we also will share on this too. Right. So I think the next one will be about the module. Yeah. So that is the business management with technology age. So currently, as I mentioned, like, so with the digital transformations or with the enhancement of technology, we see that is a change in customer experience, how we develop a new business model, like a way of doing the business different. But we actually include all of this in our current business management program. Like, so for example, like, we really want to encourage our students to be a leader, right? To be your own boss, but you need to know how to start up your business. So we have a module of the fundamentals of entrepreneurship to teach our students, okay, how you start up your business, right? So we also have enterprise resource planning with SAP platform. SAP is a very strong software that many of the MNC companies, multinational companies, are using the SAP to manage, right, company daily operation. So we also want students to learn this. Besides that, we have e-business management. Of course, we have e-commerce, e-business procurement is more on supply chain and operation side. Or we actually enabling technology on digital marketing. So we are not only talking about the traditional marketing, but so we want to embed a new, okay, a digital marketing so that students know how to handle this in future. So this is more on module. So when we design our module, right, design our program, we actually take into the considerations of the technology aspect. Yeah. So I think after this, I'll pass to Dr. Jason to talk more on interesting part on external collaboration. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wong. So I think what we've kind of highlighted here is that business has changed. And when you come to a university such as APU, you have to combine technology with business. You have to combine entrepreneurship with business. So whether you want to set up a business on your own or whether you want to work for someone else, we've tried to embed this as well as additional skills into our program. So I think for yourself, regardless of what program you want to do or regardless of what university you want to join, you've got to be, I said right at the start, be agile, be curious, but it's also understanding what are the main themes out there. You know, you're always accumulating knowledge, you know, looking what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, you know, looking what's happening with Twitter, what's been bought. What does that mean? What does that mean for us as consumers? What about the environment, corporate governance? What about societal issues, sustainability, the environment? So these are embedded into our programs, so they're very contemporary. So when you go out into industry, they're going to turn around and say, oh, fantastic, you know about these things, you know about the latest thing, because you are young. I am not. And being young, they've got a lot of expectations. You know, they say, oh, you should know about Twitter, you should know about technology, you know about programming. And there's an assumption that you are like digitally literate. And that may or may not be true. You might sit there and go, I know to use TikTok, but I wouldn't say I was digitally, I don't know Python programming. So as Ms. Wong rightly said, we offer not only in our program structure, but also these micro credentials. That in a university is really important, because as you go through, when you're 17, 18, 19, go through your university, you go, maybe I should have done. So there's Edison there, who's done international business management. Maybe in second year, he thought, maybe I should do more in analytics. You know, that I've done I'm going to go and do an internship. I'm really interested in that. You pick up the micro credentials, you pick up that knowledge. So you've got that additional certificate, etc., which you could say, I've got my degree, your business degree, which is your standard. That's your gold standard. And then you've got these certificates, these endorsements from whether it's industry or professional bodies. That gives the employer a lot more confidence, and it makes you more versatile. You know, you're not just saying, I've got a business degree. Okay, but the world has moved. What do you know about like digital leadership? What do you know about transformation? Well, I did a degree with these modules, and also I did some additional modules in analytics, Python programming, virtual reality, the user experience, and they're really impressed. Because think about what an employer wants. Employers looking at you saying, that person can do maybe 1.5 persons' job. That's why I'll pay that person a little bit more. So it helps you and it also helps them. So diversify, I think, your skill set. And what is also important when you're looking at university programs, look how many professional bodies they work for. So important. So we work with digital platforms, Home Deal. They run internships, they run real life business problems. They give students the opportunity to experience what it's like in business. Chartered Management Institute, you get certificates, which gives the employer confidence to say, they know about what's going on in management at the moment. They understand the trends. So they're up to date, because maybe they are not. Digital marketing, another certificate. SAP, more certification. So they're saying, you know about these latest trends. And most importantly, as has been highlighted or alluded to, is we have partnerships with other institutions. We are working with Erasmus, which is all about mobility, student exchange programs, getting out to another country. So you're really rounded. When you're 22, 23, you've been to other parts of the world, or not. You've maybe just experienced it through like a virtual module, but it's a choice. And you've networked with other people. You've given yourself options. So you're not just confined to, I've just got one degree and nothing else. Broaden your network, engage with other people, both within and outside the organization. Now, just to add to that, I mentioned about networking outside. Our partnerships with European partners is, one aspect is this, intercultural awareness and diversity. Why is that important? People are working from home. People are working in cross-national organizations, shared service. How do you manage diverse groups? When you graduate, how are you going to manage people my age? And they'll say, you know, how do you deal with people from my country as well? It's a different world we're living in now. How you deal with this online, face-to-face, you have to be quite aware of culture. People are burnt out. People are looking for better work-life balance. These sort of modules need to be in your curriculum. So I think our job today is to make you informed. So when you're making your important decisions on universities and programs, you know what to look for. I speak to parents and they say, you know, I don't know, my son's quite interested in commerce. He's done that at school. Maybe we just go into commerce, but they don't know what they're looking for. So you could also help inform your parents and say, you know, we went to a talk and they spoke about, you know, being aware, like cultural modules. They talked about the accreditations, the work with business. We think these are quite important things. So you could do a checklist in universities and say, that university maybe is giving me less choice. So you kind of, you move on. So we run these sort of virtual modules for students that perhaps don't want to travel because of the pandemic, but moving forward might want to have that experience. But it shows that those students that go, I've got a degree, I didn't get the chance to network abroad and I feel I missed out, you can still do it virtually. So you're not missing out on the experience per se, but you're still, it would still be better to do it face to face. Obviously, it's choice. Give yourself choice and options. Now, the other one as well, which we do, which is we embed these webinars because you are doing business, but you might want insight into other things beyond your current course. So we run these sessions to make like the most of LinkedIn. Do you want to set up your own business? We have entrepreneurs on site. So if you've got a business idea, see, everything links. You network with friends who are gamers, who are doing the augmented reality, virtual reality program. They are programmers, and your business, or you're doing marketing, and you work with these guys. You then think about, we've got a business idea. You go and visit our like our sandpit on campus. You go and speak to the entrepreneurs on site. You develop your idea whilst you're doing your degree. Maybe you're launching an app. Maybe you do sales online. That's bringing in some money. You've given yourself options, your choices. You may then enter a competition, and that competition, you win a prize, and that helps to fund further your business idea. I keep talking about give yourself options. When I was young, this will give you, that was years ago, pterodactyls were overhead and dinosaurs were roaming the earth. But I played football. And all I said to my dad was, I will be a footballer. I will make it as a professional footballer. And I didn't. And so my dad said, go and do a degree, give yourself choices. But the degree didn't give me choices. So this is what now the changing dynamic is. You give yourself as many options. So join clubs, join societies. And you know, as Leon's going to lead with, I'm sure, a question on, you know, the environment and society and governance. And there's one. We have a society on integrate sustainability and creativity. These guys are celebrating Earth Day. They're setting up an on-campus garden. They are constantly doing CSR, corporate social responsibility initiatives. They're networking. They're developing different skills. They've set up social media campaigns. They are organizing events or project management. All these additional skills on top of their degree. They're meeting corporate people. So when they're outside dealing with the senior people in organizations, it's another tick. They're opening up doors that they'll get a job at the end of it. So, and the most important thing, which I haven't mentioned yet, they enjoy doing what they're doing. You've got to enjoy university. That is key. And meeting other people, working, you know, developing knowledge, making you curious, you know, joining up and networking, so important, because it builds up your knowledge. You've got an opinion. Like, as I said, Leon might say, you know, what's your opinion of something? And if I am not keeping up to date with current affairs, I'll say, I don't know. Imagine how you're going to feel with an employer and they say, so, you know, Elon Musk, what's your thoughts? Who's that? You know, it shows, well, because it impacts on our business. So you should know these things. So it's keeping up to date. So it's keeping away from the cats playing with a ball of string on one of the social media channels, and keeping yourself informed so you get a better idea of your identity. Who do you want to be? Do you want to set up your own business? Do you want to go in terms of the environment? Do you want to do volunteer work? We give you the choices, and it helps for you to make decisions. Because when I went to university at 17, it was a big decision. I didn't know what I wanted to do. We are here to help you make the right decisions for yourself. And just finally, I've got a last couple of slides before we open to Q&A, is some examples. We've had our students just last week won a prize in terms of a hackathon. So our students do a lot of that. But I wanted to highlight two key ones here, which was, there's another one coming up in the third quarter of this year. Our students won first and second for the DIYC COVID-19 business startup, 100,000 ringgits. So a highly competitive market. And those students were interdisciplinary. So they were from business, accounting. They've worked together to establish a team, drawing on everyone's strengths to set up their own business. And the other one where our students won first and second was the Green Sustainability Challenge. You see, the competitions are all about these topical issues. Even though you're not doing a green entrepreneurial degree, you're doing a business degree, but you're going in for competitions in that area, picking up micro credentials in that area, networking. So you're actually got 2, 3, 4, 5 knowledge degrees in that sense, but one core one. It's all about enhancing your, I'm saying employability, but I've changed. It's now about enhancing your choices. So finally, if I would just like to talk about what the skills that you need to survive, and it ties in with what the topical areas that are being discussed at the moment. You have to be self-motivated, self-directed. It's not going to come to you. You're not going to sit there and people are going to come with opportunities. You've got to try and be quite proactive and go out there and get what you want. And I think your generation is meant to be go-getters. You know what you want. I'm not going to do this. I want a better work-life balance. That's it. You have to know what you want. You have to be motivated, able to adapt to situations. Your school was online, face-to-face, hybrid, back to face-to-face, online, all that. You've had to be adaptive, and that's business. Coming out with creative solutions. So, and you are very creative. You know, how do you find, how do you solve certain problems? And that's why competitions are so important in our module assessments, because you get real life problems where you've got to be creative. As I said, you've got to be digital. You've got to have knowledge of the digital environment, because they will expect, because the employers will be my age, and they'll be expecting you to have done that in terms of your degree. And as I mentioned about social responsibility in our ISUC club, you've got to have empathy. Got to care about other people. We have got to look after each other. I think the pandemic has certainly underlined that health, family, work-life balance, caring for your employees and you being cared for as an employee are so important. So we build on these things about, it's a degree, building up your certificates, but also being a caring human being. So that's what I'm saying. It's more than a degree nowadays. So when you're making your choices, make sure it's a university that you can trust, that's going to give you these skills, and one that you feel they're going to help me, they're going to look after me, and also give me the right skills. So before Leon gets more edgy and goes, he's going to leave me no time at all, I will hand over to Leah, and we'll have the Q&A. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Dr. Turner. And that was a very good sharing. All right, students, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and ask as well. Yeah, but what I'd like to also add to Dr. Turner's point earlier, you know, in all the competitions that you guys will get to join in university, we'd like to encourage you guys to join all these hackathons as well, or any business pitching competitions, right? Because like all these things, I mean, first and foremost, you will get experience, and you will also be speaking directly to seasoned investors in the market. So you will be able to see, what kind of things that they are looking at, right? Because a great idea is one thing, but how do we monetize on that idea is something else, right? So I've met with quite a few people. There are many ways to look at this. Some will say that, what if I share my idea, and they take my idea and do it, themselves elsewhere, right? That's I think one of the few concerns that I've heard over the years, right? But another way to look at it is that idea valuable, or is the person that came up with that idea more valuable, right? Yeah, so I just want to encourage you guys to just go all out to join all these competitions. It is, I do have some friends who join, hackathons and pitching competitions when they were still in university, and right now, they are a great startup and doing really well. Yeah. Oh, we have a question from Gervia. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Are there business specializations in sustainability courses available? Yeah, Dr. Turner or Ms. Wong, would you guys be able to?
We're actually developing specializations just now for a rollout later on in the year. We're looking at like kind of the green sustainable supply chain. That's one. that is particularly important, because it not only gets the student journey, the customer journey, it ties into customer-centric marketing, the digital transformation. So yes, in answer to your questions, not only in terms of like modular elective choices, but also in terms of specialization, but not having it necessarily in specialism in sustainability. It has to be something else which covers sustainability, so usually in terms of supply chain. So yes, in answer to your question, yeah, we'll be rolling them out later on in the year.
Right, cool. Amber, we will come back to scholarships later on before the session ends. All right, so the next thing I want to ask is that I know the APU offers micro-credentials, right? So it's mostly like short courses. So is this micro-credentials only offered to full-time enrolled APU students, or can say like, students in their holidays, their free time, can they enroll in that?
Yes, there's no issue there. It's just what we make it available to students both inside and outside APU. So that's not a problem. It's those students that are maybe wanting a head start for their program, or maybe it's interesting at school and they've thought, I want to explore it before I sign up to a university degree. So yeah, very much so. It comes down to choice again. So you're more informed rather than jumping in and saying, I'm going to sign up for that degree and not realizing all the implications. So yes, it's available to both APU and non-APU students.
Great, thanks, Dr. Turner. Okay, another question from MK. Why is university life important?
So important. You grow as an individual, you really do. I went to university as a 17-year-old who swam 6 days a week, played football, lived in the countryside, went to a city university. I grew up, I learned about life, I networked with people from all different walks of life. I made friendships that will last forever, and networks. I could pick up the phone and fly, those are the days, and fly anywhere, and you've got a friend in most countries in Europe. So university life, that experience is so important. So university life, having fun, because there's a serious side of study, but having fun and enjoying yourself and just socializing with colleagues is so good. You really grow as an individual. So important.
Right. I would also like to add, to Dr. Turner's point, networking is, really important, especially if, you are coming out and looking to do business. Because at the end of the day, to do business, you can't do it alone. You need partners, you need friends, and you need to know, whether these people can do what you need them to do. So it's always easier, to approach people and work together with people that you are already comfortable with, versus coming out, I have an idea, but I don't know who I'm going to share this with and who can build this together with me. Yeah, so when you're in university, that is, a golden time to create all these networks as well. Yeah, so join as much activities as you can, physical, virtual, or on-site, just go all out, guys. Right. Okay, there is a few questions regarding qualifications. We will get back to this later on. All right, guys. Okay. Do keep your questions coming. We'll address them accordingly. But before that, I want to address, one of the biggest headlines that we have seen this week. So I believe everyone here knows Twitter, although, you may or may not use it, but you probably have heard about it as well. So I think on Monday, or was it Tuesday, Elon Musk has just bought over Twitter for like 44 billion US dollars. So if you translate that to Malaysian ringgit, that's about what, 200
times 4
billion? Yeah, that's
times 4 point something. Yeah,
that's an insane amount of money. That, yeah. Okay, well, so there's a couple of questions that I would like to direct to the Dr. Turner or Ms. Wong here. So why is Twitter, being such a simple website, how is it worth 44 billion, right? And also follow-up question is, I'm pretty sure it is also Elon Musk could have just created his own Twitter instead of buying Twitter up. You get what I mean? So you could have just made it at a lower cost. So that's question 2. So question 3 is that, why would someone like Elon Musk, who is not in the social media business at all, be interested in acquiring Twitter as a company? Right.
Okay, if I could jump in, it's you could say he's quite altruistic and wanting, because he keeps talking about his commitment to freedom of speech. So you could say that it's a selfless act. He could have actually helped, say, Sri Lanka in their current situation, but he has chosen to buy this medium. He's thinking about, he gets all this data, he gets consumer information, he gets a platform where you can influence, because I think too little people control media. And this is just my own personal view. And everyone, it's important to have your view and back it up and listen to other people's views. That is a critical reflection and evaluation. I think too little people control a lot of the communication power. Having a new person in that space is good. But one person having that power of Twitter and having access to all the existing membership is open to debate. Will he unblock certain people? Donald? Will he be brought back into the fold? I don't know. So yeah, I think he seems to be quite altruistic. That's what he's saying anyway, that he's taking over this platform to maintain freedom of speech. He's decided not to create his own, but use an existing one which has already got a brand, it's already got a reputation and a list of users, and try and maybe reinvent it so because it's dwindled in popularity slightly, and use this to spread the word and engage with consumers. But I don't know, Ms. Wong, what do you think?
I think the three questions that raised by Leon, right, I can think about the same answers. I think the impact of Twitter towards the society. Like when you look at how much it's valued and why Elon must not create his own social media, because it's like currently Twitter is bringing such a huge impact to the society. I think that is something that undeniable. Yeah, but I agree with Dr. Jason. I think that freedom of speech is one of the things that we have to take into a picture on that. So I think social media brings a lot of impact. It's also relevance to when we talk about CSR, social corporate responsibility. I think Elon Musk might, hopefully, he will do something on these areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, of course, what we're saying right now, it's all our personal opinion.
Yes.
I just think that, it's fun to see, why business people make these kind of decisions. It may not, I mean, what we're thinking is just like speculation, but it's, interesting to see how things, develop moving forward, right? So, I mean,
we've all changed. Look at social influencers. The traditional forms of marketing is completely changing. Now people are investing millions into social influence because they're followers. It's your chance to influence using like Twitter and other social media platforms, different generations of people. A lot of you here in the chat might think it's not really for me, Twitter, I prefer other platforms, but you're able to capture and impact, reach certain people. And that's what I'm saying, whether Musk wants to do something for him and his current portfolio, or just have this open forum, which is freedom of speech, to allow unfettered discussions, etc. Only time will tell, but its impact is powerful, and you could put across messages which could certainly reach a wide, diverse range of people. Interesting.
Yep, definitely. Well, I mean, to the students here as well, I don't think many of you will use Twitter. I think you guys are more likely to be using things like
TikTok,
Instagram. Yeah. I don't think you guys use Facebook anymore. Right? So that's why when we talk about like marketing, we look into different platforms. So usually Twitter is more to those who are like working adults, or those who really run businesses like age 40 and above. No offense, guys, but that's just how things are, right? Even like Facebook, most of the users are like 30, around their 30s. Instagram and TikTok is in the lower range of things. Yeah. So I find social media, the business model is quite interesting because the idea in itself is very simple. It's a place for you to upload, I don't know, your photos, your videos, your thoughts, and somehow it became a trend, right? Yeah. So even if we look at things that are very popular right now, like Grab or I don't know, Shopee, Lazada, the business model is actually really, really simple. That it's insane, right? But it makes money somehow. So guys, I just want to encourage you guys that even though your idea is simple, it may seem like common sense to you, but it may very well be a solution out there that the world needs right now, right? So again, don't be afraid to participate in all these conversations and voice your ideas as well, right? All right. Okay, now let's move on to some of the questions. Okay, there's a student that private messaged me. Yeah, so I guess I won't mention your name. So the question goes like, do I have to get an A+ in business? And because I am an SPM candidate this year and I'm very worried about not getting scholarships. Yeah, so I suppose you are asking, right, what is the requirements for scholarships, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Edison, can you shed some light into this?
Sure. Just give me a moment.
You need to share your screen.
Yes, I do, if it's
Right.
possible.
Hang on. All right, there you go.
Okay. All right, just give me a moment. Okay, just move this over and from current slide. Okay, so I'm assuming most of you students are SPM students. If you're not, please let me know in the chat as well. So for SPM students, all right, if you have 9 A's, all right, for those of you who are really worried about your result and how it turns out, no worries. If you have 9 A's, regardless if it's A- or A+, you're automatically entitled, subjected to availability, you're automatically entitled to a 50% discount, all right? 50% discount all the way from your pre-U studies until you graduate from your degree program, okay? So very simple. All you have to do, of course, everything comes with terms and conditions, all right? Something very simple. All we need you to do is to excel in your studies and maintain a CGPA of 3.3, all right? 3.3, if you ask me, as a former student of APU, yes, takes a bit of work, a lot of assignments to finish and to excel as well, but if you want something, you have to work hard for it. That's what our parents have been telling us, and I believe this works for this one as well. Right, so for those of you who have scored around 4 to 5 A's in your SPM, so you're still entitled to a 10% discount. Of course, all you have to do is just maintain a CGPA of 2.5. Okay, so 2.5, once again, achievable unless you're skipping classes and you're not handing in your work and you're God knows what you're doing. All right. So yes, this is a brief run through. Of course, the discounts go up as as the number of A's that you have increase. Okay, so the highest we would usually award without an interview would be 50% discounts. And if you do score a 10A+, which I really hope you do, if you do score 10A+, we'll give you a 100% full tuition fee waiver. Of course, we would require for you to have an interview with all of us, and I think the academics department as well. And then for your CGPA, yes, it's a bit of a challenge. 3.7, that's first class. It's a lot of hard work, like what I mentioned earlier. So this one applies to SPM students. I'm just going to run through this whole thing. Wait, I do see a couple of chats popped in. What if I take only 9 subjects for SPM? If that is the case, then yes, you're only entitled to 50% discount at most, right? Because you only have 9 subjects for SPM. Okay, let me just run through the questions if I've missed anything. Okay, I'll just run through the rest of it as well. Okay, it's not moving to the next one. If you're an O-level student, all right, or if you've done IGCSE, same thing, 4 to 6 A's, a 10% discount, and the highest score, 50% discount at the minimum CGPA of 3.3. So these informations, you can get it off our website as well. It's apu.edu.my, right? You can just type in APU on the browser. It's gonna pop up. Okay. And for those of you who are in here, if you're doing UEC, right, which is a Chinese examination certificate, for those of you who are from Chinese-based schools, if your best 6 subjects added together, you've scored 12 points or below, you're automatically awarded a 50% discount. Same thing as what we have in front, 3.3 CGPA, and yes, a lot of hard work as well. If you're falling in between somewhere 19 to 24 points, you're still entitled to a 20% discount. All right. Okay, this one goes for A levels as well. Just briefly run through this. If you're an A level student, of course, 3 A's, 50% discount, 3 B's, 10% discount, right? As what I mentioned earlier, you can get all of these information on our website as well. So this is just a brief run through for you to just see everything, okay? So for STPM students, 3.7 and above in 3 subjects, 50% discount, and 3.0 in 3 subjects, 20% discount, and so on. Okay, let me just peek at the chat real quick.
Quick question.
10 A plus takes, sorry?
So let's say if a student took like 50% scholarship, right? Are they still entitled to a PTPTN loan? Can they do that?
Yes, they can, because PTPTN is an entity on its own. You would be borrowing from the government, so that really has nothing to, it doesn't affect your scholarship, because scholarships are awarded by the university. PTPTN is a student studies loan awarded by the government. So yes, you can. There is a text from GLK, 10A plus takes me a lot of effort to achieve it. I know it's a lot of effort, but believe in yourself. And for those of you who this is just me being student me, all right. I would say don't be demotivated if you've not hit a certain point of your subject where you're like, oh, I've expected myself to get like 12 A plus, and when it comes out and it's only 10 A plus and 2 A's, don't get demotivated. Or if you feel like you're in a position where you don't know what's next and you're like, I didn't do too well in school, what's next? Don't worry, because there are people who excel really well in university because it's something they want to do, right? So do not worry about that, okay? Okay, no 100% for 4.0 STPM. Unfortunately, no. Sorry.
Right. Okay, so I think that's it for scholarships, right?
Yes, that is all for now.
How about the minimum entry requirements for a business degree?
Okay, sure. Business degree. Okay, let me just back it up a little bit. Okay, I've not included the degree one, but I can tell you minimum requirement if you have done a foundation in your if you have done a foundation in arts or of any form of foundation programs, when you come into APU to enroll, submit your results to us, and we will do an evaluation on whether you are eligible to proceed to a business degree. Usually it is. We would also look at your SPM, your O levels, or so on to see if you have any subjects that we've missed out on. For instance, if you're an SPM student and if you have failed your Sejarah, if you have failed your Bahasa Melayu, then of course it is a no for you to proceed into degree. And even for foundation or diploma programs as well, I don't think you can enter APU if you have failed Bahasa Melayu and Sejarah as well, right? So this is for foundation and diploma in APU. For degree, yes, we will be looking at your pre-U qualifications and also your SPM certifications or your O levels, or if you've done any other forms of certifications, do let us know as well. Okay, so for foundation, of course, I'll just run through for pre-university. For foundation, you would require, for an SPM student, 5 credits and also a pass in Bahasa Malaysia and Sejarah. Okay, if you're an O-level student or IGCSE student, 5 credits, and if you're a UEC student, 3 grade B6s, right? And of course, For certain subjects like accounting and finance, computing, engineering, of course, you will require so much more. Okay, but we're much more focused on business today. So for your diploma programs, of course, if you're planning to do business admin or business with IT, you have to have a credit in English if you're doing it at SPM and IGCSE level, and also a pass in mathematics as well. And apart from that, we require you to have 3 credits. Among the 3 credits, we would need you to have mathematics in it as a passed subject. All right. And just like before, a pass in BM and Sejarah as well. And certificate, this is for those who did not, very unfortunately, did not do too well in their SPM. So this is a certificate to help you progress into your pre-university studies. Of course, this certificate in administrative skills leads you to business schools. All right. So if you're planning to do that, we would need you to have 1 credit in any subject and also a pass in BM Sejarah. Okay, if you're an SPM student. If you're an O-level student, 1 credit, and UEC, 1 grade P6. So that's for entry requirements. I think that would be most of what I can provide for today in terms of scholarships.
Yep. Thanks, Edison.
Sorry.
Right. Seems like yeah, Miss Wong.
Hi, thanks, Edison and Leo. I just want to add
Yeah,
on
no
for
problem.
students that will enroll for diploma program, right? Later they can still progress to the degree program. Yeah. So in this case, they will directly progress to year 2 of our degree program.
Right. Seems like everyone's good. I don't see any more questions coming in. So yeah, once again, we want to thank APU for staying with us and for organizing this session as well. A big thanks to Dr. Turner, Ms. Wong, and Edison. We appreciate you guys being here. We look forward to have you guys again. It's very exciting speaking to business-minded people as well. Yeah, thank you for sharing all your experiences, in your university life and how you came to be as well. Right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Pleasure. Thanks, everyone. Thanks
All
to
right,
yourself
thank you so much.
for organizing this, Leon. Thank you very much.
All right.
And thanks, Edison. Thanks, everyone.